Do my lips look fake? They're real, but I want them to look fake.
Goals. We want
when
the
I
real
first met
that
my
looks
husband,
fake.
when I first met my husband, he thought my lips were fake, and I was like, "Oh my god, should we get married now? Thank you."
I love that. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to rock.
And then I was like, "What the fuck do you know about fake lips?"
What the fuck do you know about fake lips? Woo! Yeah, drop a bomb on him, Marv. Booney's flex when you got Marv.
I was like, "This is good. This license."
You like my little intro music?
Cute.
What is going on, people? We are back in studio at Bravery Studios for another episode of Act Up with me, Alana J. And you already know I'm only bringing like quality, incredible human beings onto this podcast, and I have another one. Another one in the building with me today. Also, BT Dubs, wherever you're watching this, please drop down, drop it low, drop it like it's hot, subscribe, click that little button, okay? You know, we usually don't like it when you press our buttons, but please press all of my buttons, the likes, the hearts, all of them. Okay, so today in studio with me is my friend. She is an incredible actor. She is effing her. Why am I censoring myself? She's fucking hilarious, okay? Hilarious as well, just the classic, hilarious. I don't even know how to say it anymore. She is an actor, a podcaster, a stand-up comedian, a sketch comedian, a character actor, oh my God, and a mom. Fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, there's none of those here. It is Theresa Moriarty, a.k.a. T-Mo.
How are you? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. All right, so I already told T-Mo what's about to go down. We're doing random. You already know what time it is. Marv is going to put a minute on the clock. I like to do this, T-Mo, because it's like a warm-up. It's like an actor warm-up, you know? Yeah. We're lubricating the brain.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little brain
Can't do anything without a little slip.
It's got to be a little wet. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Now we're going off the rails. I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah, first sentence. Too much.
I'm sorry, Mom. Considering we
went too hard. We got excited.
She's one of my 6 fans.
We'll
She's my mom. We'll pull back, but not out. Okay. All right. So it might be one of those shows today. Who knows? We got a minute on the clock. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first word that comes to mind, or the first thought that comes to mind, T-Mo was going to say in association with these random words. Here we go. Nerve.
Wrecking.
Ooh. Tiptoe.
Ice skates.
Ooh.
Toe pick.
Disgrace.
Fun.
Oh, I like that. I said it so aggressively too. It was unnecessary. Parachute.
Never.
Oh no, I'm not going to do that one. Relinquish.
Control.
Shame.
We all have it.
Facts. Especially comics. Okay. Promote.
Exaggerated podcast with Theresa Moriarty.
Reflect.
Every day.
Oh. Facts.
Are worse than opinions.
Warning.
Shots.
Lake.
Peaceful.
Drift.
Wood.
Yeah. All right. There were a couple of cute ones in there.
Yeah.
There were a couple cute ones in there. She said toe pick, tiptoe, toe pick, ice skates. I love that. Did you ice skate?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I know how to ice skate. I ski, I snowboard. I know how to ice skate. Like, I know how to do shit.
Yeah.
But I think of The Cutting Edge. It's one of my favorite movies. If you have never watched it, it's like, you know, like a 90s like rom-com.
Okay, hold that thought, because now we're doing our 1 minute rapid fire interview, and this is some meat.
Oh, okay.
I like this meat. Okay, but I'm going to ask you different questions now, but we are going to go back to that. Ready? Okay. Who's your favorite comic?
Oh, geez, that's hard to say. Favorite comic, Jessica Kirson.
Okay.
Alana J.
Promo. Okay. When did you start comedy?
Oh, so I think I started comedy when I tiptoed out of the womb, to be honest. I've been a performer in my entire life. I was like the crazy kid running around the living room. But on a professional stage, 2018.
All right. 2018. Yeah. Your favorite destination for a vacation?
St. Lucia.
Ooh, no hesitation.
Oh yeah, most beautiful place, best people.
Oh my God,
Fun.
Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. And they just got an Olympic
rum punch on a boat.
They just got their first Olympic gold medal. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was like crying.
Where did you meet your husband?
Oh, hard to say. Okay, went to college together, weren't friends. He DM'd me on Twitter, so I flew to Ireland.
Ireland, baby.
It's a lot.
What?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
When did you give birth?
January 28th, 2022.
And I gave the last second back to the room. I gave the last second back to the room.
Give him a second. Take it all in. That was a lot.
That was a lot. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, okay. I'm an open book.
You are.
Yeah.
And I love, can you go a little bit deeper into the story of how you met? Can you do the extended version of the husband story?
Of how I met my husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit. He gets, he laughs because he has a different version of it. But we went to the same college, weren't really in the same friend groups. He was very much like Division I basketball player, RA in clubs, and I was like blacked out on a curb downtown. So very different.
Relatable.
Right. Like very different circles.
I thought I saw it from the curb. That's how we met. That's how we met.
Mm-hmm. Once we graduated, he's from Ireland. He moved back there for a job after graduation. We went to school in the States. And he started messaging me on Twitter. And then we just got chatting back and forth on WhatsApp and Twitter. Really, like, he was so far away that it was, like, very innocent. We were young. We were working.
So they weren't, like, sexy DMs?
No, not at all. It was like, oh, send a song, have a chat. Obviously, in hindsight, sure, we were obviously interested in each other because, like, but at the time, it's like, this was 2013. I had $3 in the bank account when I fly into Ireland. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going on, like, I'm not jet setting to see a guy. Like, that wasn't. So I think the pressure was off and we were able to get to know each other really organically because it felt like, oh, we're just long distance friends. We have a lot of the same friends. We have social media. We have this and that. Like, it was just kind of that. And he's like 6'6" and gorgeous. So, like, I'm not gonna,
6'6" and gorgeous.
I wasn't gonna back it up,
I mean, and also you're quite tall yourself.
I'm not. I'm fake tall. How tall do you think I am?
What the fuck?
How tall do you think I am?
Fake tall.
How tall do you think I am?
I mean, everyone's tall to me, Timo.
Well, that's
what? 5'9"?
Nice. Hell yeah.
Are you?
No, I'm 5'7".
Shut up.
See, everybody will be like 5'9", 5'10", and I'm like, live it up. Absolutely.
Okay, well, to a short,
but I'm actually short. But in I also, as my side gig, my entire life has been modeling. So I'm the short one. I'm always in a room with like people half the size, half the width of me and twice the length of me. You know what I mean?
Width and twice the length. I am done. There is a fucking formula. There is a formula that you have created.
Yeah.
People
always like assume they're like, oh, she's probably just like 5'9", and I'm like, I'm actually only 5'7", but like whatever. Well, but I'm next to these women that are like 6 foot tall, so I feel. Like your height.
It's that big dick energy. She's got the big dick energy. The big dick energy tends to add some inches. It does.
It does.
I like to reckon that I have it too. Like I did a lot of Zoom comedy when I was.
I love it. Like in the pandemic and shit.
Well, yeah.
That was such a weird time, wasn't it? Think of that. You like popped on your ring light and you were like, keep the dog quiet. I have a show at 8.
Yeah.
You don't have a show. You have a conference call, bitch.
Listen, it was the Brady Bunch. It's the Brady Bunch nonetheless. And I would have shows like I would go from a live show to a parking lot.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God.
And do a set.
Yep.
But
I met a lot of people.
We haven't even
processed that.
No. Oh no. I think I am just starting to process my COVID trauma, to be honest. That's a whole other story. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
But because I've met so many people on Zoom, when I meet them in real life, they're always like, oh shit. I thought you would be so much taller.
Right. Yeah. You're like, that's the big dick energy.
You got to angle. Yeah. You got to angle the Zoom this way, so it looks like you have some height. I know the tricks. I am 5'0".
There was like people that set up curtains in their house and stood up to do this shit. It was a lot.
Did you do it with a microphone?
No.
With the
no. You did.
I did not.
Yeah. Oh no.
But I know people that did, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, good for them because like we were all just surviving. Like you had to, But then remember they'd like have people Venmo, and then you'd get the cut of the tips from Zoom. I can't. And sometimes it'd be like $7.
Listen,
and you're like, actually, don't send it. It's better. Like I feel more. It actually hurts more to get that $3.90.
But like a mic costs what?
Oh no, 100%.
Plus the
100%.
I'll take the $7 because that's what I'm giving at least minimum. And then listen, for me going in and out of the city from Jersey, you get it.
Fair.
You get it. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Literally being outside for one day costs like $750.
Yeah. Oh, now
it's insane.
You can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Fuck. Anyway, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. I'm fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Fine. No. Fine.
All the best people are.
Right? So when the fuck did you decide you wanted to? I know you said you came out of the womb.
Well, I literally started. It's crazy because I always joke with people that I started working in entertainment when I was 8. So I'm always like, I should have quit by now. Like anyone else would have left and done something else, you know?
Right.
And I found my middle line of success, you know? Like it's obviously been fine because I'm still here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started doing commercials and stuff when I was little. So I would go with my mom, go to auditions, like do cool shit. And like, then people gave me money for it. So people are always like, why are you an actor? I'm like, I would like smile and twirl. And people were like, here's $800.
Yes.
Like, so I used to be like, this is amazing. Like, this is a job. I'm so confused. I would go to an audition and like with kids, it's different. So they'll be like, hi, how are you? Tell us what you did this weekend. Like, they just want to see what you like talking on camera because it's like a Pop-Tarts commercial. You're going to bite the thing and smile. Like, it's not, but kids are nervous and, you know, whatever. And I would see the same kids at the auditions and like, so they would literally just be like, tell us like a story. And I'd be like, I made my jeans. I cut holes in them. And they were like, hired. Like, just because I wasn't nervous or I wasn't like, that's like why, you know, they pick kids obviously because of the look or whatever they're trying to match up with a family or something. Right. But ultimately, like, they just want you to be like, and it's such a lesson for adult actors thinking back on those times because none of it matters. You've booked an audition on vibes. Like, I had an audition recently. I was just talking to my friend about it that we taped a while back, and I skipped a line. And we only realized it after I was like back home in sweats sending the tape to my manager. Yep. And I was like, yo, I skipped a line. She starts freaking out because we're both actors. I start freaking out. My manager literally goes, the lines don't matter. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that nice?
And he was like, oh, yeah, no, it's totally fine. I would use that take. It's excellent. Oh, yeah. Sends it to casting. Next day, oh, yeah, casting loved it. But that line, that was like some exposition. It felt like oh, no, the lines don't matter. The script's probably not real anyway. So my point
is,
they
do change the script quite a bit.
It's your look. It's your vibe. Are you easy to work with? That's what's so hard now about all the self-tapes.
Yes.
Versus the in the room. Like, self-tapes are awesome. They're economical. They're easy. For us working gals, it's great. I could do a tape at 1:00 in the morning if I have to. Right. Live it up. All that's a plus. But you're not telling me you're not missing out on that human-to-human energy in the room. I have booked things based on my outfit before. Because somebody was, I remember it was a commercial. I was like maybe 20 years old. I was wearing some like cool jeans. The girl was wearing the same ones as me. One of the casting, it turns out it was the director.
Wow.
Wearing the same ones. She was like, we got giggling about it. Did the audition. She probably, I don't know this for a fact. Right. Yes, I was the right look. Yes, I was the right age, et cetera, blah, blah. But past that, she probably was like, she's cool as shit. I want to spend the day with her on set.
Yeah, because she reminds me of me.
Yeah. And she seems chill and ridiculous. The same way you won't get a job because you remind somebody of their ex-wife.
Exactly.
Or you remind somebody of their mother-in-law or whatever.
Or you're wearing their least favorite color.
Right. Hello. You want to hear the crazy story?
Yes, I do want to hear the crazy fucking story.
You get pissed off. Like me.
I do get pissed off. Yeah.
You're going to get pissed.
I take on other people's shit.
This is when, auditions were in person. I think it was a commercial or maybe, it was a commercial. And go to the audition. It's going fine. I had to like move stuff around. I was modeling full time at the time. I was doing voiceover at the time, a ton of it. I was slammed. Could barely fit an auditioning kind of thing. And you're like, all right, if the rate's right, I'll go to the audition. What a nice problem to have.
What a great problem to have.
So I'm like, oh my God, I got to find a way to fit this audition in. I got to get out of this meeting to get to this, And I go to the audition. I do it. Okay, call back. Sick.
Nice.
I haven't gotten one.
This is for commercial, you said?
This is for commercial.
Okay.
I get there. Another girl's there. Looks a lot like me. I'm like, cool.
Shocking.
Wow, there's more of us. She was actually 5'9" though. No, I'm just kidding. But so
give me those inches, bitch. No.
We're chatting. We're like, I get it. Like, it's gonna be a chemistry thing. Everybody's in the room, producers, everybody, they're deciding between the two of us. Cool. Director's there, everybody's da-da-da-da. It goes pretty well.
They had you in the room together?
Oh yeah. Us two and like two guys swapping people. I was like a chemistry thing, figuring out. We're like, all right, cool. Yeah. I'm like, this will be pretty good. All right. We leave together. They're like, all right, bye, thank you so much. Da-da-da. We're in the elevator. And she was like, oh, man, I was like, you're so cool. And you're so cool. And we knew a lot of the same people. We're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that went pretty good. How did you feel about it? She's like, oh, pretty good. Well, the director in there. I was like, yeah. She says, that's my husband. I was like,
are you?
Enjoy your job.
Effing kidding me.
And it's like the director's hired. The client doesn't probably know they're married, so he was probably in that first audition going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love this one. And like, good for you guys. Live it up. But like, also.
He's my husband.
Right, he's my husband. I was like, cool. So what time are you going to set
to do
the job? So I'm assuming there's at the end of the day, it's the client's decision. Maybe it was just, yeah, no, that is our favorite one, whatever. But you're not telling me that he wasn't like, yeah, that one just had something.
Of course.
The shared bank account did it for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm surprised that she even said that to you out loud.
I think she was just being like, you know how I think we were just like having a nice time, having a good conversation. Like maybe she just like felt that I don't know.
Or maybe she was
you
like,
couldn't pull that out of me dead.
No,
like,
that would have been information I would have kept to myself.
What if I was like, oh my God, the client is my husband. Now we'll battle to our death.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but how funny, right? So it's like, I mean, it sounds like I'm bitter towards the business. I am.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's hard not to be.
It's just funny because
you're like nepotism, but isn't it kind of?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sort. It's kind of like sleeping your way to the top.
Yeah.
But she got in at the ground level. She started sleeping early. And then, the opportunity came up later. But like ultimately, what I find so fascinating about our business is, I remember being in acting school in, my early 20s, being like, oh, it's about the art and it's about and it's not that it's not. Somewhere down the line, it has to be because that's what keeps you going. I'm not.
Well, theater is definitely
that.
Theater is definitely more.
It's so much
about the art,
networking, meeting people, being a cool person to work with, being willing to learn, being open, being a real human being. That is the art.
Yeah.
But so much of the trying to make a living of it all is like, you're just like, come on.
I mean, there's so many things that are just completely out of our control.
That's the part, right? You think there's a way
the
you
husband
could
being the director being the husband and the audition.
You could still be the best in the room and the perfect look and the perfect height and the perfect size and the perfect all those things can line up. And there still might be something, like we said, he reminds you of somebody he hates.
And a lot of the stuff too is formalities, like especially with like equity with theater.
Yep.
A lot of the time,
you're auditioning for something that's already given out.
That's already cast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's just,
and it's in what other industry is there just complete darkness? Imagine somebody in a corporation going to a job interview. And they already have somebody hired and they're just all going through the motions and still doing the interview.
I don't know if that necessarily happens, but I do know, because my brother has a background in recruiting. I worked for a recruiting company very briefly. I do know that sometimes companies do post. They have to like post it, right? And they have to post it internally and they have to like be fair. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but sometimes companies will have jobs listed that are already filled.
It's like a transparency thing, maybe.
I couldn't tell you what it is.
Weird, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to look how well we're doing.
We're all like pretending.
We're hiring. We have the budget to hire more people. I don't know if that's that's what it is. The same way like fucking used cars salesmen will post a car on the internet that's not really available,
it's like
just to get you there.
The same thing. They're like, this apartment went for $2,500 2 years ago. I've got one sort of like it about 20 blocks away, and it's
$17,000.
Yeah, exactly. That one's gone, but you can have this one.
Bait and switch.
Yep.
Bait and switch. That's what that is.
We're all just getting played all day long.
Listen, but that's why
it's kind of liberating.
It's
kind of liberating because you could just like, I don't know. I always
none
say,
of this matters.
I always say the entire, not in like a sad way though. Like kind of in. I always say like the whole world is pretend. Like we make it up.
Everything.
Like we literally just make it up, and that's
taxes.
That's where perspective comes in.
Time.
Like you could be, a shift in your perspective can save your whole life.
1,000%. What is one that has saved your whole life? What type of perspective shift has saved your life?
Don't take anything personally. I take nothing personally. Somebody could be like, "You're literally such a piece of shit. I can't even look at you," and I'd be like, "Cool, thanks, bye." Because it matters, like of course, like if that was like my mother saying it, my husband saying it, I'd be like, whoa, what action did I do that might have caused that reaction? Like, what's going on? But a lot of people are just projecting,
1,000%.
especially in something like work or the entertainment business, or, like everybody's handing out an opinion for free. You don't have to take it. You can say, thanks so much. Take half of it. Take some of it. And it's almost like keep it moving. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for expending your breath and energy on me.
Right.
Perhaps you should do that for yourself and not on another person.
it's the negative and the positive, right? Because you could be doing something like, you're doing your podcast. Somebody's like, oh my God, you're so good at it. You're a great host. You're a great interviewer. We're obsessed with your podcast. Maybe you actually don't want to be a podcast host. It's just a natural talent to you. You could take all that gassing up and be like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Let me never pursue being a painter. Because I want, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
So it's the compliments too sometimes, like, because it's like, or just, and I think compliments can come not even in a verbal form. Like you could be paid very handsomely for something, and that'll keep you pretty complacent too.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Wow, I never really thought about it like that. That the positive, but I definitely have been affected. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gotten off stage after doing stand up and then like saying something randomly outside, and then somebody being like, "Oh, why don't you do that instead? Like you should sing instead." And I'm just like, I didn't fucking ask you.
You're like, cool. Yeah, no, right.
And then that's
it's the same way when you get off stage. I feel like sometimes that's being a female comic too. Like you get off stage, like, you know what you should do with that punchline? You're like,
dude,
no.
That literally
doesn't that happen? No one believes me. There'll be so many people, and it's one thing, and people will be like, oh, so you're never supposed to listen to anybody ever? No, obviously I'm not saying don't listen to anybody ever. If it's someone you really respect, you really like their work, they're in a lane you're looking to be in, they're, cool, listen to them, live it up.
They have what you want.
Like, fine. But if it's just some dude 63 beers deep trying to get an excuse to, shimmy up next to you and have a chat, you can just say, wow, thanks so much. Cool idea, and leave.
For me, I don't think it's ever necessarily come from a person who I felt like was trying to hit on me. It's just...
Oh, no, not even that. It comes from a person who's just dying to hear themselves speak.
They want to hear themselves speak, but also, especially when it comes to men approaching females, female comedians specifically, right? It's like they want to look like they are so much further along than you. Like that literally just last week that happened to me after a mic. This dude came up to me and told me, you should make this joke, which had nothing to do with the topic that he was suggesting. You should make it about this other thing. And I was like,
well, and then it's
cool,
hard too,
dude,
because
that's not the point of what I'm trying to do.
Right. Like I said, if it was somebody that you do a bunch of shows with, they've seen your set a bunch. I have a lot of friends that I respect. I have friends that I run jokes by, that we talk about things, whatever. And I'm so grateful for that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that person, like you said, you met them that night. They don't know the rest of your set. They don't know the vibe you bring. They don't know the characters you do. They don't know what the whole, they're seeing this 5 minutes at an open mic. You might be taking two random jokes from two completely different sets,
right?
Trying them out, figuring out, and they're like, what you should do is make those related. You're like, they have no reason to be related.
This was not a performance. Right. This was literally me at the gym. This was an articulation exercise, because sometimes that's what mics are for me. Right. It's literally, let me just get in front of the mic and say these words into a microphone.
And it's also a place
I haven't done that today.
It's a place to write. It's a place to say things out loud. It's a place, like, because it's so great to think, like, I'll sit at my house by my candle and I'll write things down. Who the fuck? I wish.
Realistically.
I wish it looked like, Edgar Allan Poe writing a goddamn sonnet. He didn't write sonnets, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the other one.
You sitting there like, I want it sometimes to be so intellectual and so studious. And it's just not. It comes from experience. It comes from life. It comes from jotting something down and then talking shit on stage and working it out. And if you're working something out on stage, rambling through a story, that's how you get to that word you might use instead of this other one. And like, if they're seeing that for the first time, then they're like, you know what I think you should make this about? And you're like, what's your name? What's even happening?
What are your
happens all the time,
qualifications for this?
All the time.
The whole time, every time, every mother sucking time.
And then people are like, whatever, I'm not supposed to say anything. Like, yeah.
But
like, be quiet.
Here's the thing, there's a difference. Two things. It's like, first and foremost, I think comedy aside, just in any area in life, I find that dudes love to try to put a woman in their place who seems confident.
You must get that with the personal training a ton.
Oh, I get that. I mean, I genuinely, I feel like I get that everywhere, in every area of my life. I get men trying to tell me what to do when I did not ask for your help. Right. I'm not afraid to ask for help. Right. If I need help, I will ask for it. You know what I mean? I don't need you to insert yourself. I don't need you to penetrate me with this unsolicited feedback. Right. There's a difference between constructive criticism and unsolicited feedback.
100%.
There's a difference.
100%. And there's energy that comes with it too.
Yes.
Because there's plenty of advice I've gotten and I'm so grateful for. And so many people that have helped me along the way in all facets of my career. But there are just so many people that are like, actually, did you ever think? And I'm like, no, not once. Get away from me.
or you could use that. You could use that. Yeah. You could use that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you for making my trauma a joyful parade.
It's a lot. It's a lot. What is some of the best advice you've ever gotten? Unsolicited or otherwise, for performance stand-up?
The best advice I've ever gotten, and I said this on that Subway Takes show, is don't listen to the last person that whispered in your ear. And like similar to the conversation that we're having right now, like you don't have to listen to every piece of advice, every compliment, every insult, and I think when it's from someone you respect and you look up to and they're helpful and you know they care about you and love you and have your best interest at heart, great. Of course you're going to listen to people. I'm not saying don't have any mentors, don't have any, but it's like what we're saying. What if you listen to every single person that comes whispering in your ear at an open mic with an idea? You would never get to the damn point of your joke.
No.
Because you'd be going, like, everybody has interpretation and everybody has their own perspective. So it's like they're hearing you through this lens that, you know, is making them say this opinion or say this idea or say this. It doesn't mean that they want bad for you or they think ill of you.
Yeah.
But it's like they're kind of speaking through their own experience and you're like, oh, wait, that's not what I'm trying to talk about. That's not the point I'm trying to get to. And so there's a few things that you run into there. Do you change the joke so everybody gets it? Or does the joke need to sometimes find its audience? Like that random guy probably isn't going to be a fan of you.
And that's
when it comes to right, when it comes to downloading your special, it's probably not the demographic, you know? So I just think like, and it was an industry person that told me that. And they were just like, don't, you know, and that
you can't please. You also can't please everyone.
Well, and that's
you can't
please
for everyone.
And like you'll go, you know how this is. You'll go to an audition, they'll be like, you should get bangs. You should cut your hair. You should grow your hair longer. You should be skinnier. You should be fatter. What if you listen to every single one?
My nail lady told me to lose weight. I was like, I'm about to pay you. You know that, right? Like my tip depends on me liking
but imagine,
you.
But again, right back to not taking anything personally. Imagine being the person who's like, I better tell her. I'm obviously the person in her life, the one that paints her nails.
Where does that even...
I'm the one that should definitely let her know.
I need that confidence.
Are you my doctor? Are you my parents? Are you my... Right. Like she was like, I'm obviously the one to bring this up.
The one. I am the one.
Did she have any idea how big or small you're meant to be? Like, it's just outrageous, the things that people will say.
It is.
But that's her own like shit, her own confidence, her own like...
Do you know what's so interesting? This topic, as far as acting goes, is very interesting. Because the same way that you're talking about, like how people interpret things through their own lens, as an actor, because of their life experience, because of their trauma, because of everything that they've been through in life.
Sure.
The challenge of an actor is putting that together.
Well, and putting that stuff in there, I think, and that's one thing I've definitely learned over so many years of auditioning. Is, you know, I felt for a really long time there was something they were looking for. There was a way to do it. There was a right way. There was a way to string these words together that would make me the choice.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's about injecting all of your own self into those words. And if that resonates with them, you're in the show. You're in the movie. You get the role. And I think that's like, that took me a really, really long time to learn and understand, because I really I'm a do-gooder, you know. I'm like I'm a people pleaser. Like I was like, oh, I want to do this the right way. I want this to be like good, and
I want to get it right.
Right, and there's not one way. And I think through self-taping and helping friends and coaching friends and through the pandemic and is when I learned that, because I'd be like, oh wait, like you and I could never do an audition the same way, even if somebody was like, hey guys, do it this way.
Exactly.
Your interpretation of do this angry, do this happy, do this sad is 100% opposite and different than mine for a million different reasons. Yes. So that is also really liberating in a way. It's also frustrating because it just means like it's all completely up to luck in the end.
Yep, it really is.
It's like you need to kind of, you know, what if we all were listening to one person saying how to do every single thing and how to act? Like, you can't.
You can't. And shit would be so boring that way.
And people, I think, try to do it to always sell something, right? Somebody's selling a course. They're selling a class. They're selling, and all that's good. You should go to all the classes. You should go to all the courses and take little pieces from each of them. Right. Because there's not one exact, one and only technique to do this, to do this, to do that. It's like, you got to take pieces and make your own.
Exactly. 1000%, yo. 1000%. Hey y'all, it's your girl Alana J, and I'm here to tell you about all the magic that is happening at Bravery Studios, New Jersey's #1 podcast recording studio. At Bravery Studios, you handle all the talking and they do the rest. That's it. Seriously, all you have to do is show up and shine. Yes, honey, work. With 3 different filming locations, there's a perfect space for every type of podcast. From cozy chats to high-energy shows, Bravery has got you covered. But wait, there's more. Bravery Studios hosts monthly events and podcast gatherings, perfect for networking and connecting with fellow creators. So what are you waiting for? head over to Bravery Studios and let's make some podcast magic together. Do it. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to. I think I talked about this on another show, on another episode, where I went into one of those Actors Connection, meet like 6
Those
agents.
can be cool.
Meet like 6 casting directors, whatever.
Yeah.
At the same time. Literally, this is how it went. They split us into 2 groups. The first, each group saw 3 casting directors at the same time. Then the casting directors switched rooms. That's how it worked. And when I tell you, literally from the first group of casting directors to the second group of casting directors that we were in front of performing the same scenes, the first group and the second group gave like polar opposite notes.
Wow.
Polar. And we were laughing during the second group's notes at some point, and one of the casting directors was like, what's funny? And we were just like, literally so-and-so from the previous group said the exact opposite thing that you're saying. So to us, it was hilarious. It was comedy.
You're like, oh, great. So if, you have this opinion, you have this, they're just people at the end of the day.
People.
Like, and they want you to, casting directors always say this, they want you to be the person. They want you to slot in. Fit in, be that thing. You're the answer.
You're the answer.
So you have to just like calmly and collaboratively bring that energy and just be like.
Do you have, what's a good audition story and a bad audition story, if you have those?
Ooh, oh God.
Like an audition that.
A really bad audition story that I was just thinking of the other day. And it's like, this was just, I don't know. I don't still to this day. It was probably because I feel like I was like kind of between training. So I studied with Susan Batson.
Okay.
Which was, and directly like alongside her and her colleagues. This was in early, 2010, 2011. Like she was still at the studio 100% of the time. It was such a scary, wild time.
What kind of program was it?
It's a, she does have a conservatory program now. But essentially she has a method through her book, Truth. And you just go through, however long it really takes you. Like some people take breaks for months at a time. They can't,
So it's like a monthly thing.
So it's exactly.
Okay.
So, and there's different levels and steps, and then you build a character through it and you end up with a show and there's, all this stuff.
That's cool.
So after I graduated college, I had always been acting. And then I was just like, all right, like I want to like take this seriously. I want to go deeper. I want to, so Susan was obviously the perfect person for that. So that type of training is very intense, very method, very emotional, very, use what you have, use who you are, really like very psychological, deep emotional work, which I'm so grateful for. And it made me the person I am today, not even just the actor. And then I also have studied with, I took improv and sketch at UCB, and I then went on to study on camera classes with Matt Newton. And that was very technical, how to get a job on Law and Order. There's a way, because you're not going to take 6 weeks of work with Susan Batson and apply it to a 2-line co-star for Law and Order. That's a different beast, And I think I didn't really know that yet. I didn't know how to melt. Now I have what I think of as and part of Susan's work is develop your own method. So part of my method is this combination of like when to kind of bring in that super intense, always bring the emotion with it. But there is a type of audition where you look at the beats on a TV script and there's a way to say it, and that's how they want you to do it, and you move on.
Sometimes you're just talking wallpaper.
Literally.
You're talking couch.
So I've now found many years later a way to sort of meld these things and make it work for me, and it's really fun again. But there was this kind of period of time where I think I was still a part of both. And I went to this audition. What was it for?
This is a bad one?
I want to say it was for Blacklist or something. Yeah,
Okay.
back in the days. And maybe it was, I don't know, one of those shows, like a procedural type show. And I think I was supposed to be like a girl at a bar, and it was like a guest star or something, maybe like 5 juicy lines having a chat.
Yeah.
And I kind of only knew how to work the 2 ways. I didn't know how to work my methods together yet. So I get to this audition and I like can't even say the words. Like it's the only time in my career that I've been in the room, a room probably the size of this, sitting across from somebody, and they're like, all right, and they just start the scene, and I was like, and I have the script with me and I don't even know what to do. So then they're like, oh, just take it. I think they were so kind, so cool. And I was just like it was clear that like something wasn't like normal. Like it wasn't like, I was a professional at this point. I had plenty of auditions. I'd probably been at that casting office a million times.
Right.
And I was just like unable to work. And they were like, oh, just like take a sec, like just like take a sec. I was like, yeah, no, for sure. So then I go to do it and I do it in this very like, I have the script and I just start like overacting and pushing. And I was like, oh yeah. Like I think, I'm supposed to like hit on the guy. And I was very like, oh yeah, baby, come here. I'm like winking. Like, it was like this like over the top. So then they were like, oh yeah, just like you're pushing a bit. Just pull back.
Yeah.
Just like pull back.
Do less.
And then I was like, oh yeah, no, totally, of course. Yeah. Couldn't. So keep either like pushing or fumbling lines until they were like, thank you so much. And I just left. Like it was it was like I was having like a stroke in my mouth. It was the weirdest. And I remember leaving being like, oh, I'm done. Like they're going to tell my agent, like this girl isn't even,
my career is
she doesn't even know how to be an actor.
She can't speak.
Because I always, and I realize this now at like, I don't know, I feel like post having my child, my work is totally different. And I realize so many different thoughts about the auditioning process now. But like at the time, I couldn't separate that. They would definitely be like, oh, no one is in that room because they don't know how to act. No one is in that room because they're bad at acting. Like you're there because you already have a level of whether it's reputation, experience, training. You're already there because you know how to do this thing. So me literally being in there like, hey baby, like they're like, what's happening? We obviously can't.
She having a seizure.
And these procedural shows that shoot in New York, you audition on a Monday, the callback's on a Tuesday, you shoot on Friday.
Right.
So like they definitely
it's very quick.
You're not going to have this experience and go, let's just give her a shot. Like she'll be ready for Friday. Like it was clearly like, hey, she's having a mental block. She's going through something. She's, and that is like, that was definitely like my worst, like classic worst. Like I've had worse for other like silly reasons, but like that was like the classic, like, hi, I don't know why I'm here.
I bombed that one. Yeah, I mean,
I think I was in between these two processes. I think my brain was going between like, you're not going deep enough. This isn't serious enough. You're not taking this seriously enough. And like, just kind of memorizing the lines. Like I was between these two people that I've since melded. So I think it just made my brain be like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
Well, congratulations on melding.
I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, now I feel like I love auditions. I love auditioning. I love prepping auditions. I love coaching friends' auditions. Like I've found a really creative process through it all. And it's so enjoyable.
Yeah, that's the best when it feels fun, because at the end of the day, like we are playing. We are adults
totally
playing in front of a camera.
100%.
Like it should be fun, even if it's about something dramatic.
And it's like stand up. If you're having a good time on stage, the audience is having a good time.
Exactly.
If you're up there like me sweating, they're like, please go, because you obviously have other things to deal with. Like you should go
get go do ayahuasca or something. Find yourself. Go find yourself. When I took do you know Heidi Miami Marshall?
I don't.
So she's an on-camera coach. She was actually the original casting director she cast the original cast of Rent. That's like her claim to fame, if you will. Yeah. She's I have to take part 2 of her class because a lot of her students have gone on to do like incredible things, and she is so in depth and detailed when it comes. Like the first class is so much just her talking.
I love it.
Like no acting at all, but even just from her talking, you're like, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's cool.
So her whole thing was like that. The most hireable actor is the one that is the most adaptable. Like
100%. That's
what gets you hired, is being 100%. Adaptable. Because 100%. Especially
because there's 26 people that look like you.
They
can find them.
More than that, like even more than that. Yeah. But like you said, because it's such a quick process, you shoot on the script is changing literally sometimes on set. Like you're on set and your lines are being changed.
100%.
So and that's what they're really looking for in an audition scenario.
But then you go back and you realize when they're like, oh, the lines don't matter, and you're like, oh yeah, because it'll probably. Like they got enough out of that audition without having like that one line. But who would we be if we didn't have something to worry about? Like we got to do something the right way.
Exactly. We need a little stress. We need a little stress. I thrive on it. I think I'm addicted to it, but that's a whole other, again, that's another podcast. So, okay, wait, we talked about this before we sat down, and you just brought it up right now, how your acting has changed ever since you became a mom.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
100%.
The reason why that's so fascinating to me, and I really do want to talk about it, is because one of my acting teachers, shout out to Michael Warner, even though he owes me many calls back. Sir, I'm going to cut this out and clip it on social. Michael Warner, I'm talking to you. All right? I'm talking to you, sir. Okay? One of the things that he used to tell us to do was like, not on some creep shit, but go watch kids play. Like, watch kids play, because that's what you need to get back to as an actor. We got a
genuine, real reaction.
What one of my teachers calls Sonia Cook. Shout out to Sonia Cook. She calls already listenings, which is what you were alluding to. That's like a term that she ascribed to what we were talking about earlier, the lens through which you hear and the lens through which you experience life. They're your already listenings, right? So to get rid of all of that, he was like, go watch kids play, dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
They're so free. Yeah. And that's what we need to get back to.
And they're not trying to be anything. They're not trying to get a reaction. They're not trying to solicit a result from an audience. They're just like, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. I'm happy.
They're just honest. They're just unfiltered.
Yeah.
The most honest creatures. The most vulnerable creatures. They're also the most fearless.
They're crazy.
They're fucking crazy.
They're crazy.
The most fearless, too. Dude. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to hear a little bit about that.
I mean, becoming a mother changes you at your core anyway, right? I'm a different person sitting here now than I was in 2021 in the best way possible. It gives me such a sense of purpose. And I was somebody that didn't really know if I wanted kids. I wasn't sure. We were never, I wasn't like playing house when I was little, dreaming about a wedding.
Yeah.
Like, I just wasn't. And I had the best husband and the best child and the best life. Because while pursuing other things, life happens. And now the grounding that I have and the focus that I have through my marriage and my family is the only thing I care about. That's all that matters. The rest is icing. Like, it's just fun.
Icing.
And so once I had my child, I came into a really kicking and screaming with, postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. But I came to a really powerful place in my womanhood and in my own brain and heart. And I always say so much of my bullshit fell away when I became a mom, because at the very surface of it, you don't have the time for it.
Right.
You are like, wait, what time is the feeding? What time is the nap? I don't really have time to wonder if my jeans are a 2 or a 4. Like, I don't really care anymore. Just give me a pair that closes because I got to get to the grocery store. I'm out of Tylenol.
Yeah.
Like, so there is that very like real, you're immediately present, whether you like it or not. And so through that realization, I lost so much judgment for myself. So therefore, there's less judgment on my work. So an audition that I would pain myself through for an hour and a half and try to get right and do the best version of it and show them everything I can do turned into, I'm already enough. I'm the most powerful person in the world. I'm doing so much important shit that this is just, of course I know how to do this. Of course I'm an expert at this. I've been doing this my entire life. I'm trained in this. This is what I love the most. Like, I'm not worried about breaking down this text. It's designed to be broken down. Let me just do this, and
show them who I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's time. And I think I was able to finally kind of see who I am. It wasn't based around how much money I was making, how many jobs I booked, what type of agent I had, how many, famous friends did I have. It was based in.
How many do you have? No, I'm just kidding. Famous by association. No.
7 degrees of separation. But so it really I was able to really find this lane where I was like, oh, here's the things I know how to do really well. Here's how collaborative I'm willing to be. Here's how hardworking I am. How wonderful would it be if we were to collaborate on this project together? Yeah. It stopped being like, I need this job because I am an actor and that's who I am. And actors book jobs and good actors book jobs and good actors book a lot of jobs and it started to just become like, how can I share my gifts and the human part to collaborate on this project.
Yeah.
And then also I just don't have the time for all the
bullshit.
I don't have the time for every $2 job anymore.
Right.
Just go to every single audition, every single open call, and I was like, maybe I just don't, maybe it'll come, maybe the good ones will come to me when it's my turn to have them.
I love that.
And that's kind of where,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like in addition to genuinely being forced to be in the present constantly, it's like a total shift in mindset from like, I don't know if you were approaching acting from more of a scarcity or a lack mindset before your child. And now you're just like, well, y'all are I have everything.
Right.
I literally have everything. So that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. And also I always thought like, I remember talking to my therapist when I was super pregnant, being like, I don't know what it feels like. So much will change. I remember I like cleaned out my closet and threw away a lot of clothes. And I thought like, well, I'm just different now. I'm going to need to buy all new clothes and I'm going to need to be. It's like I'm the exact size I was before. I'm the exact I have the jeans from 20 years ago still that are fine. Whatever it is. And it's like, it was such an interesting thing because I was like, oh, the person that gave birth is still the same person. Just a lot of the like nonsense kind of fell away. And I think like, I remember talking to my therapist being like, once the baby comes, like, what will I do? I'll have to have a job and it's like, what am I going to all of a sudden morph into an accountant because I had a baby? Like the only thing I've ever done is comedy, TV, commercials, voiceover. Like I work in entertainment. That's what I work in. All of a sudden I'm going to wake up and need to be a receptionist. I'm a doctor now because I'm a mom. Like, no, I can't.
So if only it was that easy.
Right? Like, I am who I am. Now it's just like, how can I make this work, with this new,
person?
New person, new schedule, new. And also what was really helpful is like, I'm not great at setting boundaries. I'm very much a people pleaser. And I work on that all the time. But when it comes to my kid.
Shout out to accountability. She's working on it, y'all. That's what matters. Yeah.
I try to tell people to fuck off every so often, But
sometimes self-love is telling someone to fuck off.
Literally.
Yeah.
But but when it comes to setting boundaries for my child, no problem. Like she's like, you're like, I'm confident, I'm clear, I know why.
Setting boundaries with her.
Setting boundaries like for her, like
for her.
what, like what is she going to eat? Where is she going to go to school? What type of house are we going to live in? What type of energy are we going to create? What type of parents does she have? Does she have parents that are never home and she's always with a babysitter? Does she have parents that are, always working and only value that over family time? Is she going to have, like, I got to choose, like I'm the boss now. So yes, there's a lot of trauma and past stuff, and you worry about it, and you don't want to pass on to your kid. You don't want to, but at the end of the day, a lot of that fell away for me because now I'm the mom. So my house is going to be a certain way, and it's going to be loving and creative and welcoming and safe and funny, and it's going to be that. So I get to make it that. So whatever I've been through in my career, in my personal life, doesn't matter anymore because now this is day one. This is now the start of what life is going to look like. And so I think that bled over into my career. It was like, oh, wait a minute. Do I want to show her someone who gets an audition and starts freaking out and immediately cancels all the weekend plans and has to tape everything and takes 7 hours of somebody's time and pines over one word? Or is she going to see someone who's really confident and expert in their craft, professional, trying to get a little job?
That's so mindful. That's like mindfulness at its key because as soon as you started talking about like, is she going to see this type of person or this type of person? I already was going into my chamber back here. Like, oh, I remember when my dad was wilding about that. I remember when he was wilding about that. Because those are the things that we do remember.
Right, of course.
Those are the things that we do remember. And that's the stuff that
now you get to decide what matters and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, you spilled a gallon of milk on the counter? It's going to suck because it's like a lot of paper towels. But do we really care? Like, that's not the battle I'm going to choose,
No.
And like, there's definitely like tough times. It's hard to be a parent. It's hard to be mindful. It's hard to not just be like, shut up and give them a phone.
Yeah.
But it's like, what experience do I want them to have? What experience did I want to have? And just finding that sort of, middle place. And, it's like the same thing with people in relationships. And, like I want her to see a mom that works, that has friends, that has a loving marriage, that has, respectable conversations with people. Like so then I catch myself, if I want to be like a bitch to somebody on the phone, I'm like, no, come on.
Is that the example?
Right. It's just like, pull back. And it's not only because of her. It like just checks me to like, oh yeah, I'm just worked up right now. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm scared of something. So I'm lashing out at someone or, like it's not always directed toward her. It's like those little things in the day to day that you're like, I don't want to check my email and stress and answer every email within 3 minutes.
Hell no. Oh my God.
I want to show her that like that person will be there in a couple hours. It's all right. It's,
yeah.
Not waiting to make people wait.
Exactly. Also, but going back a little bit, kind of like talking about restraint of pen and tongue.
Yeah.
Like, do I need, and going back to unsolicited advice. Do I need?
Who is this helping?
Is this
Why
necessary?
Am I saying this? Is this for you? Is this for me? Is this for my ego? Is this for your, like, what are we doing here? Yeah.
The filters, like, have you seen that meme, think? Like, think before you speak. Is it truthful? The T is it truthful? Is it honest? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
The internet needs that.
Those are the things I look, and I lose some, sometimes I lose.
Look at the way people talk on the internet. It's insane. Comment sections are so wild. It's like people forget that like other people are reading it. I don't care if somebody is so famous.
Timo.
Like it's still a human being somewhere, even if it's an assistant reading it. Like, who are you that you're like spitting this hate out?
This is why I need more employment, because if I'm on the internet for too long and someone is disrespecting someone I care about, all of a sudden
you start typing.
Listen, the only time I succumb to the dumbness on the internet is when I feel like there is a lesson I can teach.
So funny.
That's the only time. Yep. I'm like, is there?
Just this morning, my mom goes, out of nowhere, I don't even remember what we were talking about. My mom is crazy. She's the best, but she's crazy. And
is Italian?
Like,
Italian?
Yeah, Italian. We're all insane.
You're 100% Italian.
I brought you chicken cutlets.
She brought me
today.
chicken cutlets. She did. Literally, when you texted me, you like chicken? You like chicken cutlets? I'm like, this is the Italian.
I just made a fresh 18 to 26 cutlets. You want a couple?
Costco. She got the Costco cutlets on deck. All right, we're gonna be slinging cutlets after the show. Anyway, so your mom is crazy.
Yes,
what did she say?
Mom's crazy Italian, and this morning she just goes, I want to tell you, I yelled at somebody on the internet the other day.
Well, she's Catholic.
And I was
she's
like,
Catholic
are you like good? And she was like, no. I was like, Mom, you don't have to type to people. Sometimes it's because you know how it is, like the boomers. Like it's like it might be like an ad or something. It's like not a real, But no, I forget what she was. Something about. She was like, well, they had a toy, and it was a cell phone toy, and they were marketing it to kids. So I wrote, you shouldn't be giving phones to kids. And I was like, you tell them, Ray.
Let them know.
You tell them.
That is
first of all, it's not yelling at somebody on the internet, but she's cute,
right? And I'm assuming she's Catholic because she snitched on herself.
Yeah.
It's such a Catholic thing to do, is to snitch on yourself.
Yeah, well, Catholic like on Easter and Christmas, and when somebody dies.
Yeah. And when somebody dies, that's it. All right.
If Pope comes over, she's Catholic. She's gonna be in a white robe, but Catholic on a Sunday, she might have shit to do.
Not today. We got brunch. We brunching today. That's it. The only two options: mass or brunch, bottomless mimosas or the body of Christ. All right, Timo. So we got to get out of here in a little bit. I like to wrap up with two things.
Okay.
Is it two? Yes, it's two. The first one. Take a moment to think about it. The first one, take a moment to think regardless. The first one is, the name of the show is Act Up, right? Okay. Act Up, we acting up. Usually that's got a negative connotation, but I'm trying to make it a positive connotation. We're taking actions in our life to ascend, to go up. Okay. Anyway, and the ACT is capital because I'm an actor, comedian, and a teacher. Act Up. Anyway, just in case you didn't know, now you know. Like and subscribe. What is something, it could be anything, something that you suggest to the listeners to do every day so that they can act up today?
Ooh, I need
How can they act up today? That's the fucking question.
I need to follow this advice myself, but just the second you open your eyes in the morning, just write something down. 1, 2, 3 pages of just like, you don't ever have to read it. It's an old trick from The Artist's Way.
Morning pages?
Yeah, it's like ages ago. But you don't even have to follow that. You don't want to do the whole book, do the whole thing. Don't. But that one act of just scribbling out and emptying your brain, I swear to God, could cure the world.
Dude, talk about it.
Because our own anxieties, our own stresses, you wake up sometimes, like you're just like, if you just like brain dump, you could do a lot.
Good old brain dump. But before the coffee dump, the brain dump.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it out.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it flow. I love that. Do you think that it makes a difference if it's handwritten or if it's typed?
Handwritten. For sure.
Handwritten?
Because it's too easy to just like accidentally start scrolling. I'm on my phone so much. Everything's on my phone.
Well, on a computer. What
everything. I mean, I guess if you're like gonna, live it up if you're into typing.
Because I'll tell you what I do. I did do the morning pages. I did handwrite them for quite a long time. And then I fell off. I don't know if it was
I'm not a great typer. Are you a really good typer?
I am a good typer.
Yeah.
I am.
So then, that's probably low key relaxing too.
It kind of is.
Then because I think if that works for you, I think there's something to the pen.
There
because
definitely
you're
is.
literally just rolling over, and you could be like, "Fuck that!" Like it doesn't matter if it's even. You're never going back and reading it,
right?
You know.
I was just curious about your personal. Because I
always a pen. I don't really type a lot.
I love tactile, but and just to piggyback off of you, I try to do it every day. I try to do it every day.
Yeah, I mean, if I do it every day, I've noticed like a difference.
There is a difference for sure, but I use this app. It's called Squibbler. It's an app, but it's on the internet. It's on you type it.
It's on the World Wide Web.
It's on the World Wide Web. It's called Squibbler, or you could just Google the most dangerous writing app. What it is
ooh, that's a slogan.
You could do an increment of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And this is what happens. And this is why I like to do this one. If you stop typing for more than like 3 or 5 seconds, it deletes everything. And you have to start over. So instead of...
Because that's the point of it's rapid fire. You're not supposed to think about it. You're not
supposed to think about it. And sometimes with the morning pages, when I would handwrite, I would find... I would
cool.
trail off. I would switch tasks I wouldn't get it done. So this 30-minute timer, it forces me.
I like that.
You could start with 5, start with 10, do whatever.
It matters, yo.
Yeah.
Like getting all that junk out of your head. You'll start writing jokes. You'll start writing, because it just gets it out of the way. It's like it clears it out.
Exactly. And like Lin-Manuel Miranda said, he said this on Latinos Out Loud. Shout out to Rachel La Loca. He said that you have to, in order to get to the good ideas, it's like you're writing like a faucet. You got to let the brown water come out, the caca water come out
100%.
before you get the clear water.
100%.
So anyway, last thing, and then we're going to get the fuck out of here. Last thing, if you were writing a memoir right now, if you were writing your memoir right now, what would you name this chapter in your life?
I like that question. This chapter, Grace.
Oh, amazing.
Don't make this about your singing. That was a good answer.
You should really sing instead of doing a podcast.
Instead of doing a podcast, you should sing more.
Why, Grace? Any specific?
I think I'm just in a season where I have a small child. I have a changing body and brain every day. And I'm in a career that has a lot of old ideas sometimes, and I think we get caught up in these things that used to be true. Oh, you could be a successful actor, but don't get married. Oh, you could be a successful comedian, but don't be a mom. You won't be able to take the kids on the road. And now I think we're seeing so much more people, so many more people, including their families, including their real lives and things. And I just think for myself, I'm always, as I'm learning how to be a mother to a young child, have a successful family life, I think I need to sometimes give myself grace that like I got to say no to some things, both personally and professionally. Like I need to prioritize better, or I need to just take care of myself sometimes instead of others at so I think like this would just be a time of kind of give yourself some grace. You're doing a lot right now. In 10 years you're going to be delighted that you built this family, and you'll probably still be doing acting, doing entertainment, doing comedy. Like it's probably not gonna, you're probably not gonna become an accountant tomorrow. So
definitely not.
The career will be there.
No microwave. The accountant's here. All right, Timo. Let them know where they could follow you, where they could find you, where they can listen to Exaggerated.
Yeah. This has been great. So my podcast is on all streaming platforms where you listen to your podcast, as well as a video episode on YouTube. It's called Exaggerated with Theresa Moriarty. There is 2 full seasons currently available. You can follow me at Timo, T-M-O, Lynn, L-Y-N-N, at Timo Lynn on all social platforms. And you can catch me live all over New York City, but most most near future would be Beverly at the Pit, which is my sketch comedy team. We have shows coming up in October, November, and December.
All right, y'all. So go to thepitnyc.com to get your tickets to see Beverly. Follow Timo for all of the things that she does. And you already know. Follow the podcast, Act Up. What is it? Act Up with AJ. That's the handle. Act Up with AJ. Follow, subscribe. Follow me at alanaj.tv. And until next time, peace.